The ClonerAlliance Box Pro is a standalone 1080p 60 frames per second video recorder DVR with HDMI capture and a variety of analog capture options. This makes it uniquely poised to be the video capture solution for many retro gamers. And unlike its direct competition, it can record directly to a USB drive and does not require being attached to a computer, making it an independent and powerful video capture solution. Ever since I started this channel, I have used HDMI video capture to capture my retro video game systems, whether from clone hardware, original hardware, or FPGA solutions. So a lot of other YouTubers use emulation and screen capture, and that's fine. But for me, nothing quite hits just like original real hardware. And when I started, I purchased a separate HDMI capture device made by ClearClick HD, and it was absolute garbage. I actually returned it to Amazon for a full refund, and I was barely able to make one short video with it. So, ClonerAlliance is promising HDMI capture without needing to be plugged into a computer, which is really attractive for those of us that did not keep their video game systems at their desk. So I have gotten around this by using an HDMI splitter and a freaking 30-foot long braided HDMI cord that plugs into my Elgato HD60X, an external capture device. And I basically had to run a cable snake like I was setting up a stadium concert just to record a game of Dr. Mario. Now, the Elgato HD60X is powered by USB, and it has an HDMI input and an HDMI output, but you have to have it plugged directly into your computer to capture 1080p 60 frames a second video using a software recorder like OBS. Now, the ClonerAlliance hardware can do that, but plugged directly into a wall with an AC adapter that they included. It has an HDMI input, an HDMI output, and you can record videos simply by hitting a button on the remote control or the front of the device. So there's no need for an HDMI splitter and a 30-foot cord. You can do it independently. And the files will be saved using MPEG-4 and will be saved to whatever USB device that you have plugged into it via the USB port on the side. So a lot of people stream and talk about the gameplay, and you can definitely do that. It has an audio input, and you can easily connect your microphone to record gameplay footage and commentary while you play, and you can adjust the levels using the onboard software. And this is what it sounds like. And you can capture screenshots using a button on the front or the remote control. But what really sets this apart from the other units is this cable right here. It has one HDMI plug, and it has a built-in DAC to digitize audio and video. And you can connect RCA AV composite input and VGA, and it also has a dedicated audio in for capturing VGA. It is the freaking MacGyver of video cables. So this will accept 4K video signals, but it's going to record at 1080p. And they do have a different device for 4K capture, but it is pretty darn impressive that it can handle 1080p at 60 frames per second, and that works great for me because that is the resolution and frame rate that I do my YouTube videos at. Honestly, I have never been compelled to shoot or edit in 4K, considering it would be absolute overkill for most retro videos. But there is ultra low latency video output, and you can hook it up to an HDMI TV to play a game with no lag and also record the game at the same time. So with classic hardware, in order to get a good HDMI video signal, I have employed a variety of HDMI devices, some made by Hyperkins and some made by others, with various degrees of success and quality. So this RetroScaler 2X clone right here can technically capture analog video input from an NES, but it outputs the wrong aspect ratio and the captured colors look like garbage. So I've noticed in my testing that the ClonerAlliance captures NES and Famicom from analog composite AV with really good results. I'm not seeing the screen tearing or flicker that you get with other analog capture devices. It can handle any analog input that you can throw at it. However, if you are trying to capture via HDMI, if you wanted to capture some Blu-ray footage and use it briefly for a YouTube video, you could do that under fair use. And the ClonerAlliance just looks the other way. And then it captures it like a champ. If you wanted to hook up a PlayStation 3, and for some reason Sony, in their infinite wisdom, put any HDMI video output from the PlayStation 3 under HDCP copy protection, you could do that. And the video looks great, the audio sounds great, other analog capture can occasionally have some audio noise, and I didn't notice it coming out of my particularly noisy AV modded OG Famicom. Say you wanted to capture Streets of Rage 2 using stereo output from the Sega Genesis Mark I audio slot on the front. This is what it sounds like. Glorious. So my portable monitor here has an HDMI input, and it's doing the entire capture without using the computer at all. And I'm editing the footage that I recorded directly from the thumb drive to show you the quality. And it was also cool that you can play back your footage that you had recorded using the remote control. Now this would actually work great if you're trying to hook up an HDMI monitor to classic retro video game systems and play those on an HDMI TV with their lag-free HDMI output. While playing Mega Man, I couldn't tell if there were lag or if I just sucked, but it was probably just me. But all of the features for analog video capture that make it relevant and cool for us retro video game nerds that like to capture from original hardware is well appreciated. It's not going to do a better job compared to expensive scalers like the Retro Tink, but you can definitely take your Retro Tink output via HDMI and run it through this device and capture it at 1080p 60. So it is particularly cool and quite convenient to sit on my couch and capture gameplay footage and then stick a thumb drive into my computer. Now it's not perfect, and I did run into some very minor gripes. First of all, it does have a USB-B port for connecting directly to your computer, and they have this bit of software which allows you to connect to OBS and set up your streaming or recording setup directly from your computer, and that's cool, but it only works on Windows, and I'm a Mac user. Another thing, what about scan lines? Well, an analog signal using an HDMI scanline generator does not work. The DAC, the hardware in the cable, needs to be plugged into the device for it to do the analog video capture, but that's okay, you can always add scan lines in post. I would have liked for there to be analog video output, but if you're going to use a CRT TV, you could use the RF output directly from your game console and plug it into a CRT TV. And then the AV output could go directly into the device. But this is designed for HDMI output, but being able to handle the variety of analog video signals and digitize them and record to a USB drive is pretty darn cool. Completely independent from a computer is phenomenal. Another little gripe that I have is that the AC adapter cord is not particularly long. And another little weird thing is that it doesn't have a power off button, but you can just turn it off by holding the record/stop button on the unit. I also had to find my own batteries. It did not come with the AAA batteries that the remote control needs, but that's probably having to do more with the international shipping regulations. And it actually included pretty much all the cables and stuff that you need. I look forward to having this give me options for HDMI capture or audio or video capture separate and independent from my computer without having to use a super long HDMI cord. The ClonerAlliance Box Pro is a niche piece of retro gamer hardware, but it does a unique job and it does it well. If you're looking to capture either analog video output or HDMI directly to a USB drive while not being connected to a computer, this is definitely worth your time, and I'm very glad now that I have this in my video toolkit. Anyway, I'm working on a big epic video on why you need to have a CRT TV for retro gaming, so make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss it. This is 8-Bit Joystick. Stay awesome, play retro.